today. Got some good and bad news. So got the oil change on the car. Went to put water in the car after I warmed it up a little bit, and it's pouring out right behind the back of the block. So either it's a freeze plug on the back that pushed out, but I tried to. One of the things I normally do is drain the water out of it, out of the motor, so it won't freeze up. So I'm assuming it pushed the head gasket. I was warming up without water, just checking it out, trying to get the carburetor in. Maybe I let it run too long. I mean, it couldn't tell how hot it was getting in there or whatever, but I guess we'll see. Costly mistake, stupid mistake, but I guess that, as they say, it is what it is. So we'll see. We'll see what the root cause is, but that's kind of the prognosis. It's pouring water out the back, so I know it's one of the two issues. So other than that, guys, I'll check in with you next time. Welcome back to Hot Rods World, and this is part 2 of my leaking block. So it took me about a week to get over being upset. You know how it goes. Some of that is because of myself. Like you say, for the winter, I normally just drain all the water out, but so two things happen. Either, of course, there's water still in the block, but it froze to the point where you either crack the block or push a push plug out. Or the other day when I started it up, I think this is my second time, I let it run a little too long, and maybe when I put the cold water, it pushed the freeze plug out. You know, I got a this is a 4-bolt main block, but it's the old W block, so it doesn't have screwed in mains, so it could push those out. So so the day before I pull this motor out, I'm gonna see what actually caused it. If it's cracked block, then you know it's a whole different story. Hopefully, maybe it's just pushed the freeze plugs out. So I'm gonna try to get this bag down around the edges and put some water in there and see if I can see where it's leaking out of. And I'm hoping it's leaking out around one of the freeze plugs. If so, then you will see me attempt to repair a freeze plug. If it's not leaking around there and leaking around some other area, then you will see me get upset again, because that means the block is cracked, and they don't make the W blocks, and the dark blocks are expensive. But I don't want to think about the downside of this. But anyway, let's see if we can diagnose at least where my water's coming from, and then I can see how good or bad I feel about this. You know, so it's coming out one of two places: either the freeze plugs or the block, because it's got a crack somewhere. So just bear with me. I got the car back on jacks because I was upset, and I just put the car on blocks, and I didn't want to see it. So it took me about a week to get my head on straight, to see how much it's going to cost me, how soon I can get it back in. If the block is cracked, then I have to reevaluate what I really want to do. I mean, as you guys know, you know, I fund my whole program by myself. So running against some of these class cars that either have sponsors or have a couple people in it, it's kind of tough to compete with those guys. And I don't know how much money I really want to spend on the car to either keep it. You know, I can make the blocks crack, I could either go bigger nitrous motor, or I could keep the same cubic inches. Or do I reevaluate and see if you know, is it time to go? Always keep it forward, but should I go boost? You know, just take the whole year off and see what I can sell out of this motor. Because I think, I mean, if I think about it, the only thing I guess I could probably keep off this motor, well, I guess it depends on what style. So if I stay Windsor based, and it's just the block crack and I haven't heard anything, then pretty much everything besides the block could come out there and go over here, which is cool. I can stay nitrous, and I just incur the machining and the block costs, of course, and the switching out of parts. If you go boost, then that, the only thing really, if I stay the same cubic inches, I don't know. I'll think about it. I mean, boost has made it a lot easier. I guess the thing is, if I want to actually try to drive the car a little bit on the street, boost is definitely a lot easier, because then I could go with a lower compression engine and maybe like a supercharger, because that way I can kind of price it. The turbos are a lot better as far as power wise and stuff like that. The problem is I can't financially figure out the cost of the pipe in the cold side, the hot side, wastegates, blah, blah, blah. I get a supercharger, supercharger kit, the belt drive, and fuel injection, computer management system, and you kind of got it. But boost, those, they can, it's definitely faster. And if I was going heads up performance and, had sponsored multiple people in my program, then boost would be not out of the question. But for me, a nitrous car, I can take it to the track, and have fun and come back, and I can tune it myself. I know, that's one of the things that gets into the boost world that I just don't understand. Well, not that I don't understand. I just I see a lot of guys have to hire tuners, and maybe I won't, maybe I don't. I mean, maybe I can figure it out, but just gets in that world of when you start going really fast, you need the highly control system. I mean, that's probably $2,000 there. All the sensors, switch injectors. I mean, it probably cost me anywhere probably 10 to 15 to convert, even if it's minor stuff. And unfortunately, my kids are getting older, so it's kind of hard to spend that kind of money in a car and only get to race it like, maybe once a month with them trying to get into different sports. So, but anyway, I'm not gonna talk you guys to death. I'll probably edit most of this out. But let's get in here and see what we got, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. So, well, got some good news, and some bad. Well, I guess the good news is the block's not cracked. I just found this in my bag. So luckily, it looks like it just pushed out a freeze plug. I don't know when or whenever, but it's on the passenger side. So what I'll do is I'm gonna again start taking the headers off and see how much room I have in there. I don't know if I have room to do it, but at least, and it's got a part number. Okay, cool. Like I say, lease, let me see if I can go right here and light something. Probably too much light out there. But anyway, I'll get the part number off. But, so, turn it back. So, I am happy because that at least explains I was, fill on the side. I think it's 2 on each side and then 2 on the back. So, I mean, my finger went in the hole, so I was like, where's the freeze plug? So, luckily, I was able to find the freeze plug in when the water pushed it out, I was filling it up. So it must have been on its way out anyway. I see some corrosion around the edge, but it's a 1.5 inch. So that makes it easier. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna pull out pull off the headers, which I'll be honest, I wanted to take this heater wrap off. I'll show you. Here's what I don't like about the heater wrap is it helps out right, but when you go to change the spark plugs, these belts right here, they burn even worse. And one of the other things is I had a header leak because this, when it goes around the K member, it's kind of tight. So this obstruction makes it even worse. So my plan is, and I'll show you in the bag, it's still melt in the bag when it's really close, which is what I was trying not to do. Oh, well, I was trying to stop the bag from leaking. So, start the headers. It's only on the passenger side. Just look, the headers are really close on the passenger side. So I put the wrap on there. So it still melted it. I don't know if it melted it how bad or not. So what my plan is to take it off, and I'm just gonna run it on the tubes right down by the bag. So it's just gonna be the straight part down by the bag, and that's the only bad thing about the header wrap. But I feel really good that it appears that I just have a push the freeze plug out for whatever reason. Either my negligence of running it for too long, or from something actually froze and pushed it out, because whatever it caused it definitely pushed it out on in the bag. So it wasn't like a leak. I mean, it totally just fell out, and it's pouring water out the back. So anyway, guys, good news. So bear with me. I'm gonna take this header off and see if I can get a better picture, both sides, and see if I can get a. I did, while I was upset, I did watch a couple videos of what they do to push these back in. So basically, I just have to find a ratchet the size, and they put a little gasket maker around the edge just a little bit, and they knock it back in the block. So it doesn't look like it. It looks like, I guess it just. I don't know what made it push it out, but maybe I can inspect it too. But anyway, maybe they make a kit that'll fit there. But with the gasket maker and that, maybe it'll knock back in there. Matter of fact, I'll see if I can push this one, like, just to see if it was something else. Maybe I mean, it doesn't look like it's bad out of shape besides a little pitting on the backside. But anyway, stay with me. I'll work through it. All right, guys, welcome back to Hot Rods World. So I just want to show you what we got here. So I got the bag down, and while I was there, I know I heard a header leak. I think I might have said it earlier in the video, but it's on this tube, and it's because of this wrapping. But as you can see, I want to move it. Didn't really help my bag at all. It's actually, this part right here is actually, if I can show you, it's actually stuck to the bag. So I've been working to pry it off. So this stuff, it works for heat, but it's not, it'll still melt your bag. You can see it, the other tube, you can see the back of it. Did a pretty good number. So the goal now is I got the part. I'm gonna go out to AutoZone real quick, and I'm gonna I talked to a couple of my buddies who did, had done this. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. So basically, I just need to go I'll probably go get a new set. But I did check at least the two on it's two on the side. It actually could see, actually, yeah, you might be able to see it right here. So it's actually one under my motor plate. These appear to be fine. Of course, these are, I won't know until I can get the water level high enough. So right now, this is my main source of leak, and you can actually see where the water was leaking out of the block. It's kind of damp right here. So luckily, it's a good surface, and the water is kind of low. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go out here to AutoZone, see if I can get that same size. They recommend put a little silicone, get it started, and then use a mallet, something flat. And it looks like I can get a good angle if I come under in between the K-member. I got a bar here, and I think I can get a pretty decent angle on it. So and I can tap it from down here. So I'll work on it. I'll try to make a video, but if I can't, at least you get the gist of it. And like I say, I'll clean all the silicone. Like you said, these headers, if you look at them, I don't have much flange around the top there on the sides. So, but one of the things I did notice with that extra, the tubing is chrome moly, so it won't rust. But one of the things I did notice is with this up there, that little tolerance I did have is really tight, so it wouldn't allow this the number 2. This is the number 6 cylinder to get 100% flat up there, and you can see all the rest of them got gasket residue all the way around it.
But as soon as I pulled it off, I could actually see it was black where it was, the exhaust was blowing out that way. So anyway, that's what I'm working on now, is trying to get this cleaned up. I'll use a piece of sandpaper I saw somebody use. I'll put some silicone, knock it in there. If I can get, I got a stand. I may try to do it, but if not, I'll show you the before and after type deal. But that's what I'm working on. I get that. I'll get, so the I think when I'm doing these headers, if I can't get this one off this bag, I'll just leave this tube. But on the tube I did get off, I think I may. Let me see if I can get it. Hold on for a second. But what I want to do is on this tube is just come here and put the clamp here, and then put the clamp here. There's no need to have it up here because these bands right here get really hot and they actually burn worse than it would be on the tube. So that's my hope anyway, is that I can get that done. So anyway, good or bad news, at least we got the culprit. It's not as bad as I thought. I mean, you know, it appears the block to be pretty good. So right now the only issue we're having is the drain plug on the side of the block on this. So hopefully I can get it in there. And they had a race, one of the first 252 list race. Luckily it rained them out. So hopefully I can go in there. The only thing is, if I go before I get the alternator on, I'm gonna have to run the nitrous street class, which means as long as you got a nitrous small block class, which means I can run it. It's just not the extreme street class, which requires tags, insurance, all steel glass, blah blah blah. A little heavier car per se, give or take the rules. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I want to do. So I'll return, and then once we get that cap in there, I'll try to fill it back up with water, fire it back up, just make sure it doesn't run hot like I didn't get a head gasket or something like that. So we'll see. But anyway, hang in there with me, guys. Appreciate it. Some of this old, I think in the last video you saw, I took a lot of this header wrap off. The funny thing is, I was watching Engine Masters. I don't know if you guys watched that on, used to be the Speed Channel. I forgot what it's called, Motor Trend Network now. But they did a video on heater wrap. And of course, it didn't gain any horsepower. They said the only thing that they could come up with was keeping the hood temperature down, which they couldn't test on a dyno. As far as just horsepower on the show, they couldn't do that. So I took mine off because on the two external tubes. The two external tubes, it doesn't really get close to the bag. And the one that I had close, it actually burned. I think I showed in the last video. It actually just melted the bag to the thing, and I actually got a tube in here that's still stuck to the bag. So I figure I'll just leave it on that one, but the two tubes, because what happened is let me see if I can get it, but you can see on this tube here, it might be upside down, but let me see if I can get it. Yeah, but you can see right here, this whole tube, it was just blowing past it, and some of that was because the tolerance was pretty tight around the K member, so when I put that extra, I couldn't get this down there like I wanted, so it was actually, I could hear it in the car. I know it's loud to like everybody, but when you sit in the car, I could hear it blowing past here, and you could actually see it on it was right here on this one. You can see it's nothing there compared to the rest of them. They were pretty orange all the way around, so I could tell which one it was. So got my trusty drill and I had I got in here, but I'm not gonna hold it like that, so I had this before and I just didn't realize it. But the cool thing is I got one of these here, one of these brushes here, because I was doing a wire brush up here, and then I just happened to look in my toolbox, and I had the same type of wire material, so makes it real easy to put it on our tee. So I'm gonna switch it out real quick. So now we got a perfect tool to clean this crap off. And like you say, you don't have to. It makes it a whole lot easier than what I used to have to do with that wire brush. And like you say, for fine tuning, you can get in there and get the wire brush, but it's so much easier to clean that surface off. And then I usually use some brake clean and get the rest of this stuff off. And so what I'm going to do back is go back and, of course, lay a fresh bead. But almost like brand new. So like you say, just use some brake clean around here, clean up the surface, and reapply a fresh coat. And see what we got going on.